look at the everything else of that nature. And then you have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. As you can see at the Assembly 2, it's an AR. Not my personal favorite AR, honestly. And here we have for the lenses, we're going to do lenses first. There's a Sure Shot IS. And it also has OEG. Now for the perks, we have extended mag, which picks the magazine up. Also quick auto rifle itself, however, it does not do the gun any justice. But if you like high rate of fire guns, this is for auto rifles, this is your go-to. And then it also has third eye, and then there's hidden hand. Not one of my favorite roles for this gun. You have a better chance of getting a better drop from leveling up with New Monarchy, in my personal opinion, but it is that. My personal opinion. And then we move on to Free Will 3. It has Fast Draw IS, Quick Draw IS, then we have high caliber rounds, then there's Quick Draw, Hammer Forged, which personally I think Hammer Forged for a hand cannon is pretty decent. It gives that boost to range a great deal. Considering the nerf of hand cannons not too long ago. Then you have Hot Swap. I mean, they buffed a little bit of the hand cannons, in particular the Fatebringer Adept. And then you have Rangefinder for the Free Will hand cannon. Then you have in Preacher 5, which is a Void. Then you have Sure Shot IS, Quick Draw IS for your lenses, Flared Magwell, Snapshot, awesome perk to have, honestly, for a sidearm. Alongside hand loaded, because it gives a slight boost to your range. And of course Flared Magwell. These three perks for this sidearm is not bad at all. I'm sure again you can get a better drop from the vendor himself by leveling up. Moving on, that's the case with all guns that I'm previewing right now. We have Bad Counsel 4, the shotgun. I'm a big fan. Well, I'm a fan of shotguns more now than I was, and it's not because of the nerf. To me, they just pack a lot of punch, and that's what I look for. So, moving on, it's a Void gun as well. It has acquired Accurized, sorry, I'm not feeling too hot. Accurized ballistics, which you take a major hit on that stability. And then you have soft ballistics. Moving on, you have hand loaded, which picks up the range. Now that's the reason why I'm not too big. I should have said I'm not a big fan of shotguns. However, I do use them if the range is better than what you're seeing on the screen. It picks up the range a little bit, but not much. Snapshot, aiming his weapon is incredibly fast. To me, that's a useless perk, but to each his own. Then you have Perfect Balance, which for a shotgun, Perfect Balance is good to have, considering they bounce when you shoot them. Surrounded, not a good perk to me, but to each his own. Then you have Crowd Control, which Crowd Control happens to be one of my favorites to actually use. So I would go with Perfect Balance, Crowd Control, and definitely hand loaded for this gun. I wouldn't change the lens. I'd leave the lens alone. Moving along, I love sniper rifles, and I'm real critical on my snipers. So this one here is solar. It has, for perks, Ambush SLH-25, which takes away from the range. I'm not too fond of that, but again, to each his own. Just to get more stability and reload out of it, you'd go with Ambush. Now if you go down to Taxis, I guess you would pronounce that, again, you lose range. Me personally, I would stick with my first scope, because I'm keeping my range. So moving on, sorry about that. Then we have high caliber rounds, which I'm a very big fan of high caliber rounds outside of quick draw. Small bore, which you'll lose a magazine size. So instead of 4, you're going to have 3, which I'm not too keen with that, just for more stability and loss of reload and more range, it looks like. Then you have triple tap, which I would use high caliber rounds, me personally, and triple tap along with hidden hand, which hidden hand is a good perk. I'm not going to say it's one of the best perks to have right here, but it's a good perk for a sniper rifle. I think personally a perk of Zen Moment or Crowd Control or Rangefinder right here would have been the best choice. Moving along, we have First Citizen, which also is a solar machine gun. Now, I'm not too fond of First Citizen, and the reason behind it is self-explanatory. If you can't tell, the impact is low, the range is incredibly low, and so is the stability, which the perks we're going to look at and see if that helps this gun out on any at all. So for the first one, we have high caliber rounds, which picks the range up just a little bit, not much. And then we have hip fire, which does nothing for the machine gun. Then we have perfect balance, which picks up the stability a little bit, significant amount, but not enough to counter that rate of fire. It'll be harder to control. Then we have Army of One and Eye of the Storm, which Eye of the Storm I don't feel is a good perk here. Maybe Counterbalance would have been good to help with that stability a little bit more, but Eye of the Storm definitely not a good choice here. Again, that is my personal opinion at New Monarchy Weapons. So we're going to move along here. I'm not going to try to take up too much time because, like I said, I'm new at this. I'm kind of, I guess you would say, yellow. Or green, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to go down here to the first up is the AR, Zero Day Dilemma, which a lot of people use Zero Day Dilemma. I myself, I don't, and the reason I don't is because of the magazine size. I mean, the stats are pretty decent for an AR, and with the current buff of ARs, I mean, this is pretty decent, but I'm not a big fan of Zero Day Dilemma. However, it has focused fire. Oh, I'm sorry. Quick draw first, I'm sorry. And then OEG rifle scope, which picks up the range. Now, the quick draw IS picks up the reload. So we move along. Then it's focused fire. I'm sorry, I went a little off beat there. Grenader, which I find is good, excuse me, for this gun because it helps to cool down with your grenade if you're still doing, or even if you're running inside the Prison of Elders and Trickle is active. Grenader kills with this gun help cool down with the grenade in the melee. So this is definitely a good run here, which there are other guns out there that produce Grenader as well, or not produce, I'm sorry, have Grenader as well. In my opinion, better guns. Also, we have small bore, which lowers the magazine size, but it picks up the range and stability, and you lose reload as well as magazine. So, not a good choice here. Rifled barrel, you pick up range, you lose reload, which me personally, would sacrifice reload for that range. But that's a personal choice. Then you have Third Eye. I don't think Third Eye would have been a good choice for an AR because why? Why? Just why? Me personally, again, I don't think this is a good choice for last perk. Moving along, we have the B29 Party Favor, which a lot of people like this gun. I believe my fiance, she uses this gun. I'm not sure. This one has Sure Shot, and it picks up your reload, and it also has OEG for the scopes. Now, moving along, Outlaw, good perk to have for a pulse rifle, personally, I think. But if you had to choose between Outlaw and Life Support, I'd go with Life Support for PvE, and I would go with Outlaw for PvP. Personal choices, to each his own. Then we have Small Bore, which again, you lose range, you gain range, you gain stability, but you drop your reload in your magazine. And then we have Feathered Mag, which you just lose your magazine and gain reload. So I mean, really here, these two choices, I would have to go, personally, I would have to go with Small Bore. Again, Third Eye, I'm not a big fan of Third Eye. Yes, it's nice to have on a gun. Just, I'm not. Why have Third Eye on a gun? I mean, you'd be constantly aiming down the sights and moving your character. Oh, I got Third Eye, so let's do this. No. Me personally, I would have done something here that would have maybe picked my magazine back up to 24. You know, that's just me. Or rangefinder or something. I'd have done something different here. Again, to each his own. You can get a better roll from the Quartermaster as a drop. Okay? So moving along, we have the Hero Formula Scout Rifle. Nice scout rifle. People talk about it a lot, a great deal. PvP, good PvP weapon. Real good PvP weapon. A lot of people use it. I'm not one of them. And the reason I'll tell you in just a second. Lens, we have Range Lens RLS3, and we have the OEG Rifle Scope, which I would go with this one. I'd lose a slight bit of reload just for range. Yes, I would, but that is my personal choice. Zen moment, need I say any more? Who's next? I don't. That wouldn't even be a thing for me. It would be Zen moment for me. And then you have perfect balance, high caliber rounds, and then return to sender. Me personally, it would be high caliber rounds. High caliber rounds, definitely. And return to sender for this gun. Now, the reason I don't like this gun because they nerfed the magazine size across the board for scout rifles, and I'm not too fond of that decision on their part. Like, take Vision of Confluence, for example. That's fine. That's 2 more bullets less than I had. That means I have to reload more. Not really, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Moving along. The hand cannon, the Paladrone. I'm not a big hand cannon person and never was. I don't think I ever will be, but again, people out there love these things. Fast draw IS, quick draw IS. I'm just going to breeze through this one. Outlaw, Fast Resort, and let's see, Fast Resort, or Last Resort, I'm sorry, my apologies. Outlaw. If I had to choose between these 2 perks, it would be Outlaw. Small bore or lightweight, definitely lightweight, because I'm not losing any stats, but I'm gaining a +2 agility. Then, excuse me. And then you have Hidden Hand. Not the best roll I've seen on this gun for a hand cannon, but I've seen better. Moving along. Each New Day. Fusion Rifle. Void. Red Dot ORA2. OEG. You lose no stats with either one of these, but you get improved handling with Red Dot ORA2, and then you have improved handling as well for the OEG. It's just basically the same thing, just different lens. Me, I would probably go with some off-the-wall garb for a lens like this one, maybe, depending on what it looked like. Anyway, moving along. Hipfire. Again, this one is Void. Hipfire, life support, brace frame, snapshot, and hot swap. Me, I like fusion rifles. I think life support, snapshot, and hot swap are good. Hot swap, not so much. I mean, I've seen perks that are better than this on a fusion rifle. And, I mean, across the board, all across the board for this fusion rifle, I've seen better ones. I've had an Each New Day with a better roll than this, but get it if you want, don't get it if you don't. I mean, it's on you. Avoid shotgun. Again, that range is just unacceptable. Bungie, it really is unacceptable. Sorry, I had to call it out there. And so is that rate of fire. Aggressive ballistics. I'm not a big fan of them buffing or nerfing the shotguns. I'm not a big fan of that at all. And I know a lot of people complain about it, about shotguns being too OP, but to me they weren't. But a lot of people complained. So what happened? They nerfed them. Moving along, knee pads. Slide further with this weapon equipped. This is a good PvP option. Knee pads. It really is a good PvP option. You're in a tight spot, you dart out and you're just blowing enemies away. So the knee pads is a good option. Reinforced barrel, you lose stability with this, but it picks up that range. I mean, if you want to sacrifice your stability for range, go for it. I understand what they did here with killing the range on shotguns, because shotguns are close quarter guns. I understand that, but basically completely killing the range on them, I don't agree with. I mean, I don't want to have to be like all up on my enemy with my shotgun just to blow them out. You know what I mean? It's just not. It was just wrong to see them do that. Anyway, moving along. Flared Magwell picks up the reload. Now, I want to see a higher rate of fire, and I want to see a higher range. Higher reload, that's just, no. Maybe, I mean, the faster reload does help the gun, but it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And also, this shotgun only has 4 in a clip. Come on. Then full auto. Oh, you're going to shoot bang, 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 bang 4 times. You're full auto, it's time to reload, you're dead. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 4 in a clip. Come on. 5, 6, yes. 4, no. 4 fusion rifles. Moving along. Anton's Rule, sidearm, Void, has Sure Shot, and Quick Draw IS. Relentless Tracker, which I think is a useless perk, but I don't think I'm the only one out there that thinks that. Feeding Frenzy, I would definitely go Feeding Frenzy with this gun. Even though it has almost even though it has, sorry about that, even though it has almost maxed out reload, I would still go with Feeding Frenzy as opposed to Relentless Tracker. Then we have Snapshot, lightweight, rangefinder. I would go with Snapshot, Feeding Frenzy, along with that rangefinder. Yes, definitely, those would be my 3 picks. I wouldn't need lightweight.